if you love NBA, you'll love NBA Live. If you know, you know. No, welcome back to another episode of Sideline Punchlines with the NBA side. You know, the brighter side where amazing happens, as Marcus knows.
Yes, sir.
Over the trade deadline, February 5th, I believe it was, a lot
Yep.
happened. A lot of teams made, some small changes. There were, a few, not major changes, but a few big time, players that left their franchises. The Bulls are on the minor end, in my opinion. They traded away Vucevic. They traded away Io, and they kept Giddy. But now they have several guards, and now they only have, I
Well, they
think,
got they
two
got hold
players.
on, they got rid of White too, didn't they?
Yeah, Kobe White.
That one
But now,
surprised me.
yeah, no, now they're down to only two players over 6'9", right? So everybody is basically a guard essentially on their team.
hmm
What do you make of this?
I think the NBA has been transitioning to small ball for quite some time now. So, but to see that is a little surprising. Like to not have a 7 footer out like on your roster. I mean,
Not even 6'10", 6'11".
yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, exactly. So not even as like the 15th man. You know what I mean? Just like is a little surprising. But I mean, the NBA. I mean, and like quote me if I'm wrong, but I think it's been, like I said, transitioning to small ball for, some years now. You don't really see those, 7 footers and plus out there. And I know they don't have anyone over 6'10". You do see 6'10" people out there. So, but I mean, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. If they think they have a winning formula for that, by all means, go for it, and we'll see how it works out. But I think trading away Kobe White was definitely my biggest surprise for the Bulls as far as that trade or those trades, because I thought he was hooping. And but yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this Bulls move is, for sure signs of tanking, right? Which I'm not a big fan to, but because of the players that they did decide to bring on, I am a fan of what they have at least to put out there. I'm a huge fan of the young bull. That's his nickname, Colin Sexton, who's already making his mark in the Chicago Bulls. Then they have Jaden Ivey. They also grabbed Anthony Simons, who I knew you were high on for the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fun from the standpoint of they have this talent. Rob Dillingham, I forgot about that, but
hmm
it's exciting because they have all this talent at the guard position, and it makes it a little bit easier to kind of see, okay, who's the best of the best as far as that group goes, and who do we want to move forward, and what direction do we want to move with, right?
hmm
Because while Josh Giddey isn't super old, I believe he's like 24, 25. He's in that middle of the pack, right? Where you have at least 5 years, you could try to do something with that, or you can go a lot younger with Rob and Ivy. These guys are 22, 23, right? And yet now you open up the window at about 7 years. So it just kind of depends. Also, you can only have one true six-man, right? Really one solidified guy that is there to either be the best rebounder there or the best scorer, or your six-man is there to fill in that gap, whatever it's meant to be. And so I would love if the Bulls are able to make something out of a Rob, a Colin Sexton, or a Jaden Ivey. Those three. I think Simons walks, but I think this is clear signs of taking. They're tired of being in the 11th spot or the 10th spot or the ninth spot. They weren't able to do anything with Zach, Lonzo, and Vooch. So we'll see what they end up actually doing next season. But this year, I expect for them just to figure out, okay, who's showing signs of potential. What can we use to build off of next year, and what direction are we going? Are we sticking with Giddy, or is Giddy a trade piece?
Yeah, yeah. No, I think Buzelis is nice if he can, put some bricks in his back pocket over the next couple of years. I think he's going to be a nice player. And does he start?
Yeah, he does now.
Yeah,
But
he does now start.
he got the rookie treatment, hazing, if you want to call it.
Yeah, but no, I think he's a nice player. I can't believe, damn, he's not. So how tall is he? He's 6'9".
I believe, yeah, 6'9". He's one
Okay,
of the tallest
wow,
players.
that's crazy.
Yeah. And he's a stretch combo, because he has a little
hmm
bit of a handle. He can take it off the
Yeah.
dribble, and he's a three-level scorer. So they, Lowry Markkinen, for instance, on the Bulls, he was primarily a 4 and 5, right?
Uh-huh.
But now they switched him up because he's more of a skilled big. But they look at him like a skill forward now, And so I think Bruzelis might step into that role as well, where you'll see him, um,
Brusalis. Okay, got
yeah,
you.
on on the shorter end at a 5, right? But on a comfortable end, 3 and 4.
Yeah, and I
You
mean,
know,
I like Colin Sexton. He's a nice player, but how many teams has he been on now? Four, three or
three,
four?
3 or 4. I know the Jazz, Cavs, and now the Bulls.
Those guys know those. Okay, unless we're missing. Yeah, okay.
Oh, and Charlotte. Never mind 4.
Yeah, Charlotte. Yeah, Charlotte. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, that kind of. I mean, you don't like to see that, and that kind of tells you what teams think about him. But I've always liked him as a player. He's a nice player. But yeah, definitely interesting what the Bulls are doing.
Yeah. No. Well, I brought up tanking earlier with the Bulls. It's for me clear as day that that's the direction they're going. But what are your thoughts on the controversy right now surrounding the tanking for teams, and how do you envision we fix it if it needs to be fixed?
Um, I mean, I don't. I don't think they're really. I mean, you can say you can fix it, but I mean, I think every year, like, there's a team that is either knows kind of right away that they're not going to be that good and decides to do it, and it just happens. I mean, it's just the nature of the sport. Not everyone's going to be, not everyone has the talent to compete in the NBA with the team they have built that year, and so, um, I mean, how do you go about fixing it? Maybe extend the roster, and uh, so you can have an extra guy or two and helps teams out if that would help. But I just don't really see a way of fixing it. And I mean, this has been happening for a very, very long time. And so I think it's just always going to be there, to be honest with you.
Hmm. I mean, I see what you're saying as far as like it's been happening for like a long time, and I do agree with that. But I do believe it's fixable, right? Uh, at the end of the day, we're able to see if these players are actually healthy, and we are able to see if these teams are sitting their players out, and that's why they've gotten fines for sitting out players when they don't need to be sat out, right? The Jazz, for instance, the other night they sat out Lowry Markkinen. They said he's going to be rested, and then all of a sudden they changed it and said he's active, right? So obviously they are starting to crack down on it. But these teams need to be given an incentive to like play for. This is the NBA. We're paying good money. Like our money goes to them. We're watching them make millions of dollars. And if they're sitting on the bench, I mean, why would I want to pay? Why would I even want to invest my time in it?
Yeah.
So it's a Trump. I mean, it's kind of an effect to all the others that it's a snowball effect. And the way I would fix it is I would somehow create a system of or a group within the NBA organization that investigates these teams, their players' health, and able to, find them, for instance, for sitting out Lowry Markkinen, Jarrett Jackson Jr., and who was it? Yusuf Nurkic in the fourth quarter, right? In
Mhm.
a winnable game that they're up 17. In the NBA, if you're up 17 in the fourth quarter and you still have 12 minutes, you're not sitting out your team. Now, if you're up 40 maybe or 30 maybe, but 17, a whole 12 minutes, why would I send in my G League unit? You
Yeah.
know, uh,
What would
it's
you
just
think about like I know this sounds weird, but extending the season, like maybe like how there's like I mean like maybe
like back to backs or
get rid of
three
back to
games in four
backs,
nights.
like okay, I play one game in 4 days, like or 3 days, and like not the I play a game, there's a day off, and then I play a game, like get rid of that, and like and then I don't know what would you think about that?
You could definitely do that, but I see that more fixing like health. I don't think that fixes like the Washington Wizards planning on sitting out Anthony Davis and Trey Young, right? When it doesn't
Yeah,
make any
but like
sense.
fixing health like would help, like
No, fixing health would help as far as like when that happens, right?
mhm.
I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
talking about that though, right? I'm simply talking about these guys are healthy and they're choosing not to play them, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it's not just the Jazz, and the Jazz fans right now are the ones that are most on, they get defensive about this topic because they're like, why are you attacking us? It's like, no, the Wizards are doing it too. We've been seeing it. And we see these
Mhm.
teams that bring in a bunch of G League guys, but we don't need that to happen. Like, we
No.
don't,
And
you know?
I don't even get why they're doing that because like I mean you're already bad enough, like you're so just like why wouldn't the
You're
people
not the
that are
Brooklyn Nets.
yeah,
That's
like
the thing.
why
Like the
I'm
Brooklyn Nets are
just
playing all their guys and they're genuinely bad.
yeah. And it's like why as an owner or whoever's paying these guys, even if like we're bottom of the barrel bad, like why wouldn't you want them on the court? You're paying them to be on the court. And just because they're
Exactly.
bad, you just what? You're just throwing money down the drain? Like no, get them on the court and at least like, try to get fans in there. And yeah, no, I don't get that at
Yeah.
all.
So like while I don't have like a definite like true fix like simple solution, the only thing that comes to my mind is fining, right? Like hey, you are going to be fined just like when Ben Simmons sat out of practice when he wanted to get traded, right? He was fined every day. He lost the most money of all
Yeah.
time in a single season due
Hmm.
to those fines, right? You do the same to the team. If you're
Yeah.
going to do that, right, you're taking away money from the rest of the league. You're taking away interest, right? And you're not really giving these guys on a two-way contract an opportunity to develop. Like you're really not. You know,
No.
you're putting them in at bad times. You're making them look bad. You're ruining their careers, right? You're not actually helping anything, right? And you're damn for sure not growing the league and showing, oh my gosh, look how great our league is. You're definitely not doing that either. So it just has to be fixed. If guys are available, they have to play, and they have to be trying to win. And that's the
I
reason why the
100%
league can
agree.
get watered down is because, oh, we can just wait for our turn year after year after year. I don't want to pay for that. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to cover that. I'll cover it because of it's a problem, but I don't want to cover. The Washington Wizards just started the two-way man out of. It's like, come on, man. I don't want to hear about that. But
Yeah,
um,
and yeah, go. Yeah, go
no, yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Yeah. Speaking of comparisons, though, Reggie Miller had another take recently
Oh
that's controversial.
God. Oh
This one,
God.
Reggie Miller compares Caitlin Clark to Payton Pritchard. Is this a good comparison?
Man.
Did you just throw up?
Man, I'm so sick of Reggie Miller. Is this a good comparison? I mean, it's a comparison. Like, I guess to say the least.
Mark Measy, ladies and gentlemen.
Like at her height in her profession, like I would compare her to like a Damian Lillard. Like I would go as far as to say like a Damian Lillard. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't want to say Steph Curry because he's had success, and Damon's had success too, but not to the level that Steph has had, obviously. But I would say like a Dame Lillard. She's like a Dame Lillard. And that would be like, and that's not a diss to Peyton Pritchard. And I'm not saying Caitlin Clark is better than Peyton Pritchard. I'm just saying like as far as like a good comparison, I think that's a good comparison. Like I would compare Caitlin Clark to Damian Lillard. Um, I think he just says what he wants. Like is okay with
What
getting
makes you say
clowned
that, Mark?
because Derrick Rose and LeBron were fighting side by side for 8 years. Man, I remember those 8 years. But yeah, that's why I say that. But what do
Yeah.
you think? You think that's a good comparison?
No, I think Reggie Miller's been off. I think he's a little too tuned out on reality,
Unanimous.
or he's either a little too tuned out of reality, or he's being passive aggressive, trying to send a message. Um, I'm not too into the, Caitlin Clark versus other players. Obviously, that whole debate.
Yeah,
Um, Caitlin Clark is in a world of her own, though, as far as what she brings to the WNBA. She has the media on her side, which is great. But more importantly, she has the talent to back it up. Like that's
yeah,
the reason why the media is on her side, right? Not to say that she doesn't have room to grow, because obviously she does. And I loved your take. I mean, it was like Damian Lillard, who is again great, and he's actually had more success than Caitlin's had in the WNBA, correct?
yeah,
But
absolutely.
but you're talking about the talent that she has
Hmm.
relative to her in her field of the WNBA, right? And
Correct.
so, if he would have taken that approach and would have said, a Damian Lillard, like another superstar, because she is a superstar. I'm sorry, but she is. I mean, she makes 2 times, no, I think it's 10 times probably the amount of the average WNBA player. And that's
Yeah,
including on and off the court endorsements,
yeah.
right? And
No, I
money.
was I was I was looking at it as like Okay, so when he said Peyton Pritchard, I was looking at it as I'm like, okay, so Peyton Pritchard is at hit like the level in his profession as the same as Caitlin Clark in hers, and I'm like, no, Caitlin
No.
Clark is higher in her profession than Peyton is, and so
Yeah.
like I just try to find that median, and then the Damian Lillard like was like kind of my would have been my comparison for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
No,
All right.
it's a great comparison though. I mean, me personally, I'm saying Steph Curry. If you look at the trajectory of like where they started from their rookie season, she got injured. What happened to Steph his early years? Injured, right? And he
Yep.
kept getting beat up. His ankles couldn't stay good. Obviously, Kaden, her body, she's still adjusting. It's what happens. And it's just like, hey, it's not a far stretch to say, hey, you know what? She reminds me of Steph. She's got the qualities of Steph and Dame, right? I just looked at it like a cheap shot, and
Yeah.
possibly Reggie was doing that to LeBron, like, hey, neck and neck. I don't know. I just know, recently Reggie Miller's takes have been, first dump, not first
No, I
take.
just think
You
they're
know,
dumb. I just think they're dumb takes, and I mean, I have dumb takes. Like everyone has dumb takes, but I just think it was a dumb take, and it's
back to
just funny
back.
because you said it might have been a shot at LeBron when he said, the neck and neck, but then at the Knicks game, LeBron dunks it, and Reggie, is oh, and so
Yeah,
I think Reggie
yeah.
I mean, he means well. You know what I mean? I don't think
You think
there
so?
are. Yeah, I just think he doesn't really think about what he like says before he says it. Like I
I
mean,
mean, the
he's human.
reason,
I do that too.
no, for sure, but like at least address it some point. Like he never addressed the Derrick Rose and LeBron comparison. He never addressed, the Caitlin Clark. So if there's consistency there, but like sometimes, I think he like sticks the bubble gum underneath the table and leaves it there. You know what I mean? Like he knows what he's doing,
Good punchline. Good punchline.
Hey, what can I say, man? Mark Measy in the chat. You know what I'm saying? I had to bring my A game. But hey, I don't want to spend too much time on that, but there is another little turmoil I think is building up over there in Philly. Embiid asked the 76ers this year to dip into the luxury tax because they've been staying under in previous years, and they again didn't listen. Do you think there's turmoil building up in Philly? Granted, they did take away his anthem when he used to walk out. The process, right?
Yeah, we talked about that. Um, I mean, probably. I mean, for as long as he's been there, you would have to imagine that tension grows and frustrations grow between the two parties. Conflicts, throughout the years, and maybe Philly and their ownership, and they're maybe thinking like, hey, like, it's kind of come to the end of the road with Embiid, or it's nearing. Um, it's been a great run, but who knows? I think it's kind of definitely veering that way. Definitely bad turmoil because I mean, it's been so long. I mean, they've been together so long. It's just like there's going to be frustrations, and sometimes it doesn't happen, doesn't work out. So I do wish the best for Embiid. Been playing some good ball recently, but like we've talked about multiple times on this pod, they got those two young guns, VJ Max they call them, and
Maxi pad is
I
what I've
think
heard.
that's just where their heads at. I mean, some can only not work for so long, like kind of like the Sean McDermott. I mean, uh, head coaching. I mean, seven straight years of playoffs and 9 years of coaching. It never hit the ultimate goal. So someone's got to kind of jump on the grenade.
No, right. I mean, as far as Embiid asking about the luxury tax, I do think it's like a smaller shot than taking away, the process when he walks out. But it is a shot. You know, that was a loud message. It's like, hey, listen, maybe we can make a move. I'm not saying he was sending a shot at Paul George or anything like that, but I think it's clear as day Paul George isn't the same player. He was just saying, hey, listen, let's trade this guy, throw in another piece, and let's bring another, option into our building, to be amongst us, and let's go for something.
Hmm.
Our last opportunity to do that was with Jimmy, Tobias, and Ben. And look, we made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
You know, we could do that again if you bring one more person in. And so, what I think it's turning into is a way cleaner version of a Shaq and Kobe situation where, hey,
Hmm.
we have two directions, right? And while Maxi is a way nicer guy to get along with, and there's no beef between the two, they are choosing a side right now, and it's clearly Maxi. And I think it's just because Maxi's more available, not because Maxi's more talented. I think Embiid, thus far, has definitely at least 3 comfortable enough years to be like, hey, Maxie, if you don't win a Finals MVP, or if you don't go to the Finals, and if you don't win a regular season MVP, my career was still better than yours, right? So I don't think it's from that perspective or anything like that. But I just think the Sixers really need to dive deep into Embiid, invest a little bit more into him again than what they're showing. Because Embiid, he's not dumb. He's been around the league now for what, 10 years? 11 years? He knows what it takes now to win, and he knows he needs to be available. All these things he's aware of, right? But he's a little bit like Giannis as far as like, man, my heart and soul is in Philly. But I don't think Philly's heart and soul is in Embiid anymore. And that's the issue. That's the disconnect.
Yeah.
They're like,
And
hey,
I
we
mean,
got Maxi. Go ahead.
that's Philly for you. I mean, Philly,
Pretty black and
they're
white.
they're they're tough fans. You know what I mean? They'll
Mm-hmm.
they'll switch up and they'll let you know when you're playing bad, and they'll let you know when you're playing good. They'll boo at you at your home stadium or home court, and that's just the way they are. But I mean, it just goes to show like superstars have power, and the team will listen to that player, and for them to not be listening to Embiid and for them to be taking shots, I mean, it's a sign, I mean, for sure that they're definitely leaning one way, and Joel Embiid's trying. So like you said, yeah, you would like to see him invest a little more in Embiid.
Yeah, I mean, if Embiid's telling you, like, hey, listen, I'm good. Like, yes, I might not be able to play 82 games, or, maybe I might not be able to qualify for these awards anymore. But guess what? Doing this and having this approach is going to have me longer in the postseason, be able to perform in the postseason. And guess what? If we get one more guy that can stick it out through the regular season, I might be able to play some more games, because guess what? I don't have to wear myself down as much,
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Skilled bigs will always get attacked. Wait till Victor Wembanyama carries out his career and how many games he has to miss. I mean,
Hmm.
it just happens. The taller you are, and it's harder on your knees, it's harder on your joints. That's why we've seen so many Achilles tears and ACL, ruptures and all this other stuff,
Hmm.
right? It's hard on the body. And so I think the Sixers, they're making a mistake if they don't at least give into some of what Embiid's asking for. And for sure, if they don't start giving him the respect that he deserves, because the process should have been ran past him. You never take away that, because once you do is when you're messing with somebody's peace. And if Embiid loses his peace in Philly, bye-bye. Maxi's years are going to be wasted, because I promise you, Embiid's presence will be felt when it is gone.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Embiid's presence there with Maxi can only maximize Maxi's play, or what I mean. So like, just don't waste it.
Yeah.
Um, Try
Yeah.
to get the most of it, and like they seem a little early on jumping ship.
No, absolutely. I'm right there with you. But somebody who did jump ship, whether you want to say it was a nasty way or it was clean, James Harden went to the Cavs over the trade deadline. I believe he was the third last trade. What does this mean for Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs organization?
Um, I mean, it means they give someone to relieve a little bit of pressure off Donovan Mitchell. It was just a little surprising to me because the Clippers were playing really good ball. They were, I don't know their exact record, but I mean, they were
They went
plenty of
19
games.
and 6 over their last 25 games.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so it just comes a little shock to that, because before that, I definitely wouldn't have been shocked because they were just terrible. But it seemed like they had something going for them turning around. I know Kawhi was the main reason for that. Um, but what does it mean for the Cavs? Like I said, yeah, just relieves a little bit of pressure off of Donovan Mitchell. Guarantees that they will be in the playoffs, and it guarantees that James Harden will come up small. That's what it means, because we've seen nothing else from James Harden, and I hate to
Yeah.
say it. Hate to bring up like the comparisons and like, oh, well, I hear people say like, oh, he's better than Dwayne Wade and these guys, and I'm like, yeah, I mean offensively, but like, and then in the playoffs he's just not there. I mean, and it's happened every single time. So that's what it just guarantees for me. I see them going out in the second round.
Does
I'll give
that
them a
mean
first
anything
round.
for Donovan Mitchell, though? Do you think this trade or acquisition, raises the
Like I
pressure on
said in
Donovan
the
Mitchell?
last segment, I mean, superstars have power, and so like I'm sure he knew something, and I'm sure he had asked for them to get something or someone else, and they listened. So, if it doesn't work out, it could be on him if that's the case.
Yeah. Uh, I honestly like the trade. For some reason, I like James Harden in the East, simply because it is the easier path. I mean, you have to be honest. I mean, while the East has like the most young talent, that doesn't correlate to for sure going to win, right? We just saw in the Super
Hmm.
Bowl, right? A young QB gets in there, right? Great season, but you're going up a vet, somebody who's been there before, Sam Darnold, or in the postseason at least,
Yeah.
just that team. And relating it back to the NBA though, um, what was I going to say? I'm sorry, Mark. I just lost my point of view or my
No,
train
you
of
were
thought.
just saying you like James Harden in the East
Oh,
because
James
it's
Harden in the
easier.
East, yes.
Yeah.
James Harden in the East because like I said, he's getting back into this conference. The last time he played was in Philly. Now he's not running into a Miami Heat team with Jimmy Butler. I mean, it's kind of open. You're running into the New York Knicks. You're running into the Boston Celtics with no Tatum, and you're running into the Detroit Pistons, who's also a young team. So I think it elevates the pressure on Donovan Mitchell because he's that guy. James Harden knew that before coming there, and James
Yeah.
Harden he gets to play a little bit more free because he's like, if I go down, I mean, D. Mitch is the guy. You know,
Yeah.
so
I
I
mean,
think
and
we will.
it helps that they kept Mobley and Allen too because James Harden will get it to them, and he's a great rim lobber, and so like that's what they have going for him right there.
No, absolutely. I mean, when he drives a lane, you don't know if he's going to hit a floater or he's going to lob it up because it's the
Hmm.
same action with the left hand, and so he
Hmm.
he can easily elevate Mobley's game around the rim and Jared Allen's for sure around the rim. The question mark would be just what does Donovan Mitchell do differently, right? I mean, does he just turn into a scorer? Because he was working on his all-around game. We saw him get the rebounds, saw him elevate his assist numbers, right? But with James Harden there, his usage rate is going to go up offensively to get the ball in others' hands. How does Donovan Mitchell, react to that? And so that's the time for D. Mitch to kind of decide, hey, am I actually going to be this number one guy on the option or number one option on a team or not? Am I actually that number two? Because James Harden, he just wants to win a champion. He's been vocal about it. Now, granted, he still wants to get paid, right? But that's ultimately his goal. And so Donovan Mitchell really gets to decide whether he's that option or he's not, and he's just a complimentary role player. So that one,
Yeah.
I'm super anxious to see
It
him.
makes me curious for next year because word around town is that LeBron's going into Cleveland next year, and so might see like a James Harden, LeBron, D Mitch, who knows? But and I mean that's just a rumor that LeBron will be going back to Cleveland, but just curious, interesting to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd be seeing some great ball from LeBron if he goes back to Cleveland. And it's just this season will answer a lot of questions as far as Donovan Mitchell. Like I said in the previous podcast, right, of being that number
Hmm.
two or that number one. Because I believe he's a number two. But this season, with a guy like Harden who can give you the ball where you want it, when you want it, right? If you don't deliver and you are not the reason, if you are the reason you get sent home, right? I mean,
Right.
your status on a team is now in question. You will no longer get paid like a number one. You will no longer get treated like a number
No.
one, right? And you won't be the, hey, you're the voice that we're listening to. And I like his game. Don't get me wrong. I like D. Mitch. I'm just judging off what we're getting, right? Which is not much. Number one seed gets knocked off, right? Now you got a time, a chance, run it back with the same team. Granted, you've been going through injuries with other teammates, and you're in the fifth seed, but now you got Harden, and Harden came to play. So let's see what you make of it.
Yeah, Harden's been playing great.
you know. But Mark, to close this out, I did want to give some spotlight to Charlotte. I think on episode 1 or 2 we did touch on them. Since then, I think they've been tuning in because Lamelo Ball has been texting. Charlotte's been on a hot streak. I'm sorry. Charlotte's been on a hot streak, winning 8 games straight. Do you think they have a chance to make the offs this season, or is this just due to schedules, easier teams? Man, they should win
Yeah,
these.
definitely due to easier teams. I'm excited for their future though. This year I would bet any amount of money that they don't win a championship, and that's always the ultimate goal. The goal is not to make it to the playoffs. So if they're trying to do that, there's just no need because they're not going anywhere. I hate to be rash. I hate to be rash, but like I said, I'm excited for their future. They got a lot of young guys, but like you said, we've talked about them. They just need that veteran in there. I think they need a veteran on the floor, really, too, um, and one on the bench in the locker room. They just don't have that. Um, like you said, they've been playing easy. They've had an easy stretch of schedule here. And yeah, I mean, talent really. I mean, they have talent, and it's not. That's not really the issue. I just think it's more of this. They're young, and they just need that veteran in their ear. Like we talked about a few pods ago, or like 4 pods ago, Chris Paul. Like, why not just give him a chance? And I think, does Toronto still have his rights? Because I think Chris Paul ended up getting traded to Toronto or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and they just told him to
But
stay
like,
home.
just you know what I mean, and like get him in Charlotte again. So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Charlotte's streak was impressive. They did have some very like, high reputable wins. I believe they beat OKC as well, for one of their wins, which is huge. But
Yeah,
I think Charlotte, they kicked something into gear. Now, I don't know what it was, but Adam Silver, I heard, has been going around the NBA marking off the checklist on like, hey, who's available? Why aren't they playing? Things like that. And so maybe the Hornets kind of got investigated. They were, if you look at it, they've had enough talent on their team. And yeah, granted, it does come down to, having some vets. But at the same time, when you have that much talent, you're not winning games, that's a little suspicious, right?
yeah.
And so now that you had, Khan, Miles, you have, obviously LaMelo, and they have some
Miller.
other key guys. Yes. And then Grant Williams, who's also not a dummy. He's a winning player. He does the little things. I mean, the man
Yeah,
lost his teeth from Embiid stepping on him, going for a loose ball, right?
yeah.
So, do I think they have a chance for the playoffs? Yes, they do. I think, their season could be a 41-41, finish, and they're in the play-in, or, the way the East is going, they could be an 8 seed, right? Which is
Yeah.
still play-in.
I can see him. I could see him making it into the play-in,
Yeah.
but I don't think they'll make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's just the lower stretch of the teams just aren't the best. So I think by the way it's going, they do have a chance to be in the play-in, and then, it's a coin toss for whether they get it or not.
Yeah, because they had, like you said, the talent's there.
Hmm.
It's just, yeah, I mean, it's been a little suspicious, but like I said, I'm excited for their future because they got a lot of these young guys, and if they just write it out, they probably will have a bright future for sure.
No, for sure. But not as bright as that smile, Mark. Because guess what? That is the end of episode number 6, Sideline and Punchlines, man. Super excited. Thank you guys for tuning in again. We got another
Appreciate
episode
y'all.
coming soon. Keep liking, commenting, subscribing.
Like, comment,
Let us
and
know your thoughts
subscribe.
on, all our takes. Obviously, with the NFL season coming to an end, we will try to keep you guys updated with as much information as we're able to get.
Hmm.
And Mark Measy, before we go, what would you like to say?
Yeah, I would like to say like, comment, and subscribe. And then, yeah, like you said, we'll definitely have some NFL takes, not as much as usual, just with the season coming to the end. Some off-season news, anything that comes out that happens during the off-season where or players are going, coaches are going, but I think most of the coaching's locked up. Maybe we'll talk about that next pod, about all the new coaching hires. Yeah, no, just like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate y'all. 6 episodes deep in this mug. Can't wait for episode 7.
Yes, hey, make sure you let them know, man. You quit the drink, man. I don't see any drink today. You didn't pull it out, man. We
Yeah,
weren't ever
no, we
saying
quit drinking,
no,
man. We got a
no,
little
no,
body armor today, but
no do
I
say
don't
in the
know.
cup, man.
Hey, maybe next pod will be at night and put a little dog in there, a little dog in
Facts,
that
man.
cup.
Little dog in that cup, huh? Nah, deuces though.
All right, y'all.